Hello and welcome back to another edition of Zach Collect. First of all, let me just say I am very sorry that it's been so long since I made a recording. It's not because I don't love you guys, because I do, and I appreciate you every single day. No. I got married a little while back, as a lot of you know, and it's just been very busy getting a whole new household going and whatnot. And just to put things in perspective for you. Yes, there's my wife, and she wasn't here a year ago. She's kind of a new installation. So there's Janet, but then there's also 6 cats and 5 dogs. 6 cats, 5 dogs. And yeah, it's kind of like a zoo. And it's not so much getting up in the morning as it is doing chores. So I have a renewed appreciation for our agricultural friends. Thank you very much for everything you do. I understand chores now. Maybe not as deeply as you do, but I understand it. Anyway, all that being said, so there's been a lot of great product being released lately. And I will tell you this, and it's unabashed, McFarlane's taking most of my money. They just plain are. They've got so many cool things coming out. And you know, I began my collecting career with Spawn anyway. I began with Spawn. I love Spawn. I loved it when they came out with their kind of a staction, kind of a figure, abstraction, however you want to call that. And I like it. It's nice. It's a throwback to the days gone by when he made a lot of product that didn't have a lot of articulation, but boy, it had a lot of paint, it had a lot of sculpting. It was very, very nice. So anyway, he's been re-releasing product, and we all know that, the DC Multiverse among them. I just collected all of the Suicide Squad, so I got Bill King Shark, which I absolutely love. Bird. Anyway, the other thing is he's re-released, or he's releasing again, the Spawn figures in mass. En masse. En masse. You know, obviously I've got the Kickstarter Spawny, and I love them to pieces. Oh my goodness, yes. It was worth every penny. And I even got them with the actual signature card too. So I've got a signed one. And that's a very nice figure. Lots of great articulation. Very interesting articulation, too, and use of materials. You got like a soft tummy there, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, kind of, you know, that was out there. And then he released the 3, oh goodness, here we go again, Zachary. Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. I've got a bunch of those, too, by the way. In fact, hey, I tell you what, hang on. Let me grab one of these over here. I've got all the different variations of this. I've got all, you know, the mace and the sword and the hatchet and whatever the heck you call it. But, you know, here's that little guy right there. And those are great. Love them. Still not quite the Spawn of yesterday, though. They still not quite. I think what's happening is he's trying to throw a lot of articulation into his figures now, whereas he didn't used to. And that's fine. You know, the sculpting is still there. A lot of the paint is good. Not quite what it was yesterday, but yesterday you didn't have all that articulation, did you? How many people used to scream and complain about, you can't make his arms move, you can't make his legs move, I can't make this guy go in any position that I want. Well, guess what? Now you can. The articulation is definitely there. All right, enough said. Let's take a look at some of these great Spawn figures that I just picked up. Raven Spawn, the Redeemer Spawn, and Gunslinger Spawn. And by the way, I do have product from yesterday that we can take a look at to compare them to. First up, one of my favorites, Redeemer Spawn. Now take a look in the package. That looks pretty darn cool, don't you think? Oh, come on, give me a break. For $19.99, oh, wait a minute, what am I saying? Forgive me, Zach Collects just made a mistake. They're $24.99. But the size is great. I love the scale. I love that over 7-inch scale. I've always liked figures that were 7 inches and better. I love this crazy chain going on here, which is already pre-sculpted, so you can get it in all kinds of action-y kind of poses and stuff. We'll take a look at that. But first, I thought, just for fun, we would take a look at, well, what is arguably the very first Raven Spawn, which is this guy right here. And he came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, I want to say. marvelous sculpt. Look at the sculpt on this little guy here. The paint is incredible. You know, I think Ashley Wood had a hand in some of this. It's really, really nice. Maybe Ashley Wood inspired. I don't know. Look at the cape. And you know, of course, McFarlane's always great at capes. Look at that. Look at the texture. That's pretty incredible stuff. He's short. He's barely 6 inches tall. I mean, he's not the biggest dude in the world. Does have a real metal chain around his waist, and I've always loved that, by the way. You hear me, McFarlane? Put the metal chains back. Come on. And he's got this great weapon. It's got a lot of great sculpting on it. It's very cool, huh? But kind of teeny. You know, I'm Ravenspawn. I am, and I'll get you. I will. So I'm going to put him over here for a second. There he goes. Now let's take a look at this guy here. So here he is in package. Here's your package. The other reviewers have gone through all this ad nauseum. I'm not going to do that. Love the back of the package, though. That really pops out, doesn't it? And the other side of the package, and blah, blah, blah. So let's get them open. And I'm not going to do all that on camera. I'll get them out of the package. We'll get them all set up. Wee doggies. This thing took a while to come out. I had to do a lot of snipping. Good thing I have my handy-dandy snippers. By the way, if you don't have snippers, highly recommend that you do. And anyway, so this guy is really awesome. I got to say I love him. Now, there are things that could have been done better. I hate doing that. I hate thinking, I wish they would have. Well, you know, it is what it is. And I think for the money and the value, I think it's well worth it. I mean, the weaponry is great. I love this crazy chain with the whipping action. You know, S is for hope. I love this stuff. You know, it looks great. The sculpt is pretty much awesome from the get-go. I don't really see any problem with the sculpt at all anywhere. Once again, we have the famous McFarlane sculpting going on in there. Just love it. You can see I already have him on his base. He only comes with the base and his weapons, which is the staff and the chain with the hooks. But the sculpting is just incredible. I think for the most part, the paint they did use was very well used. They did a great job. Look at this cape. Look at the cape. Just look at it. Watch out. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Little spikes everywhere. For the most part, the spikes are kind of rubbery. They're not dangerous. They won't like poke your fingers or anything. Articulation's all very useful. You know me, I do not like going through all the articulation. Again, I think other reviewers do that ad nauseum. I don't do that. Articulation is useful and wonderful. And if you're like me and you like to get your figures and take them out of the package, because by the way, I believe that is the only way to really enjoy them. You're going to put them in a position, and you're pretty much going to stay that way until every now and then you're going to change it up. And that's why it's great to have articulation. It's great to have that because you can change it all up. Now, let's real quick take a look. So here's the new one. Here's the new hotness. Here's the old and not busted. It isn't old and busted. It is old, though. But look at the size difference. For goodness sake. Wow. I got to tell you, I love this Ravenspawn. I love this Ravenspawn. I love this one, too. You know, a lot of feels, a lot of nostalgia from this little guy right here. And he had some okay articulation, swivels and whatnot. I mean, he didn't have the articulation this guy has. This little fella here, you can put him in all kinds of crazy, and I just said little, and I don't mean that. He's a good size. Love it. I mean, it's got the ab crunch. It's got the not soft goods, but it's got the softer rubber, almost soft vinyl in the midsection, so you can do the crunches and you can do the twists, and you know that's great. And the head's got some decent motion. That's a wonderful figure. I love it. I absolutely love it. The one downside, and I'm not saying I wish they would have. It's just the way it is. Because of the cape, watch what happens. Hey everybody, I have. You need to use the stand for him. At least I do. I mean, your mileage may vary. Love this figure. New hotness. Old and busted. But not busted, really. So that is Ravenspawn. That's a brand new fig from McFarlane Toys. Highly recommended. And you know what? If you're so inclined, hit it with some acrylic paint and change things up. You know, bring out the detail. I might just do that myself. That's for another video, though, I think. So, that's it for that one. And do we have more? Why, yes, we do. Okay, so by now you guys know, a lot of you know anyway, I'm old and feeble, and I like doing things the old school way. And I'm going to apologize right ahead of this. I used to have this figure. This was the Redeemer figure. That was the one to get. And I used to have him. Someone made me an offer on him. I sold him, I don't know, about 7 years ago, I guess. So I do not have him. What I do have is I have a Redeemer figure. This is a version of Redeemer. And I do have this guy right here. And actually, the fans are screaming that they make a brand new one of him, too, by the way, this version of him. This version, he had light up chest, which doesn't work anymore because of the many years. Metal chains, though. Metal chains, McFarlane. Bring back the metal chains. So this was a version of Redeemer that came out before this guy right here. But this is what it looked like. And he was a pretty good size. Now, for all you people that love articulation, you wouldn't have loved this figure because he did not articulate hardly at all. Once you got him in this position right, hang on a second, it's coming. This position right here, that's it. That's the way he would stay. He had a little swivel or two, a few things you could move them around slightly with swivels, but that's him. That's what he looked like, all flayed out with his wings and whatnot. And that's what it looked like in the package. And again, I'm very sorry I do not have this thing. But now here, ta-da, is the new one. This one just came out, and I am thrilled to death that they made another one. And I'm thrilled to death that they made one with a lot of articulation. And we're going to take them out of the package off camera, because it takes a while because of all the little things you got to snip and whatnot. And by the way, these are the snips. Get yourself some snips. Need them. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, this one is lovely. First, let's just take a look at the detail. I was thinking I was going to have to jazz up some things, but I think the sword is just fine. I'm going to leave the sword the way it is. It's got enough antiquing to it that I really like it. You can see all that detail in there. And then he has got a lot of good detail as well. In fact, the blue of his suit, and it's already been said by other reviewers, the blue of his suit is really, really nice. In fact, I'm going to take the sword out of his hand for a second. There you go. The blue of his suit is really very nice. Love it. And it's got some texture to it, by the way, folks. You got to wonder how they do that. Is there some little guy sitting around making little tiny little texturizing details on the suit? I don't know. Is it done all digitally? I don't know. Anyway, lovely stuff. See that green cross in his tummy? This in here I might hit with some brown shoe polish, a really light wash to bring that out. In fact, I think I might do that. I probably will. Wings, beautiful. Just great. Just great. Very, very nicely done. Look at all the sculpting detail in that. Of course, he has a Redeemer butt, as they all do. It must be. Details on his, on the armor, all the way through. Lovely on that leg there. That's terrific. Now, one downside. Can you guess what it might be? If you guessed, those wings are probably pretty heavy, and it's kind of hard to get them to stand up. Oh, you said it right. In fact, I'm going to use 2 of the feet stands, 2 of the circular spawn stands to stand him up, because you just can't get him to stand up all by his little self. But lovely figure. And again, here's the old. Again, not this exact guy, but he is a Redeemer. But the size difference is what I want you to pay attention to. Pretty big difference. Pretty big difference. There's obviously some wash on this guy a little bit here, and not so much over here, but I don't know. Come on. This is a nice figure. It really is. I know I keep saying come on. I don't know what I'm saying come on to. Come on and join me on my trip to Mile High Comics in Denver, Colorado. And by the way, if you haven't seen that video, do so. You'll love it. I keep getting compliments on that all the time. Anyway, so here he is, the new Redeemer. See ya. And finally, the pièce de résistance. The, I guess, really hard to find now. I don't know. I mean, as soon as I heard that Target was selling them, I ordered one that instant. I must have been maybe 10 minutes into when they opened up pre-orders for that. Gunslinger Spawn. Oh, yeah. And as you can see right here, I do have the original one. Don't have the 12-inch one, but I do have the 7-inch one, which obviously more than 7 inches. So before we look at him, let's put him to the side. This is the original Gunslinger Spawn. Now here again, look at this sculpt. Holy skeeters. I mean, you could stare at this thing for days. And you keep finding new things. That skull stamped onto his collar there. For instance, of course, the texture of the cape and the cape itself. Well, coat, jacket, whatever, duster, I guess you'd call it. Look at the hat. Look at the detail on the hat. It's incredible. Face is great. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't too hep on his face on this one. It was too pointy. But that's just me. That's just me being the artist part of me. It's like, well, they shouldn't have made it as pointy. But they did. And it still is one of my favorite figures. Look at that. Look at the chest. We got some real chains going on here, too. And I do love me some real chains. We got the guns. We'll call them pistols, shall we? The bandolier, whatever you call it, wrapped around his thigh there. It used to have 2 dangling bones, but the other one, I guess the rope must have, over time, it must have, I don't know, deteriorated, because I can't find the other one. It used to hang right there. But at least I got him. So there's this guy, and his height is very good. His height is, I want to say, well, with the hat, almost 9 inches. He's an awesome figure. Love him to pieces. He's amazing. But let's take a look at the new hotness, shall we? Right now. Oh, boy. I am truly amazed at how much I love this Gunslinger as opposed to this Gunslinger. This guy always a special place in my heart because he was the first one. He was my first love. Anyway, love him. The sculpt is there. The paint is there. The wash is there. Very nice. Very little articulation. Metals, chains. Got the cool factor going on, no doubt. Here is the new hotness. And you know what? They're about the same. Yeah. Yeah, they're about the same height. I'd say they're millimeters off, maybe. But here's the new hotness right here. So let's take a look, because before I look at him, let's take a look at the new hotness. Here he is in all of his glory. This face sculpt, I like better than the original. Yes, I do. I just do. It's just got more menace. Like, I'm going to gun you down, sucker. And then you go to hell. The sculpt is great. The soft vinyl, rubber, whatever you want to call it, for the duster is great. Spikies everywhere, but they're not sharp. They're soft. He's got swivels, like bicep swivels. He's got ball joints in the shoulders. Lots of different things can be done with this feller. And then, here's the rest of him. Take a look. Take a look and see. Tell me what you think. Is he sweet or what? The boots are awesome. He does have the pistols are loose. They can't come out. He can hold them both. He can also hold the rifle. The rifle's also loose. And that's another, it's an accessory, if you will. And the rifle holder goes around his back over his head. There he goes like that. There we go. Stands pretty well, I think. Let's take a look at the back of the jacket. Here's his back of the jacket. What's missing? Can you tell right away? Can you? That sculpted skull's not there. That's what the back of him looks like. And I'm having to use the stand again because the jacket is rather heavy. But I will tell you what, I am thrilled with this. I'm more thrilled than I thought I would be. New hotness? Old and absolutely not busted. That's right. Gunslinger Spawns. His hat, his hat is actually, and this needs to be said, his hat looks more like the Billy Jack hat, if you all remember Billy Jack, which is an awesome movie, by the way. His was kind of taller, wasn't it? A little more stylized. That's absolutely in line with what that hat would actually look like, I think. Got the little skulls on it, too, by the way. Lovely pieces, lovely figures. Thank you, McFarlane, for giving us back the Spawn line. Now, make more. I want to see an Omega. I want to see some of these great, big, beefy figures that have been attacking Spawn in the comic books, and I can't think of the names right now. But anyway, that's what we got right here. Oh, wait, one more thing I want to show you. Pardon the glare, but when Spawn Universe came out, I had to get me, my favorite guy, the Gunslinger cover. It's pretty big. There we go. I just don't want it to glare. Nicely done, yes? The Gunslingers! And I will be right back with the wrap-up, okay? And there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, dogs and cats. The new McFarlane Toys, Gunslinger Spawn, Redeemer, and Raven Spawn. Do I recommend them? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Is it worthy to add to your Spawn collection? Absolutely, absolutely. Is it just worthy to put into a collection of cool-looking figures? Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, think of this now. For $24.99, what you're getting is you're getting all of this fantastic goodness and hotness. And if you compare that with other people who are producing figures, I'm sure you will agree. You're getting way more than your money's worth. Anyway, that's enough for me. Thanks so very much. Please like, please subscribe. It's very important that you do. And don't forget that I'm on TikTok, Zach Collects. Like me over there as well. You have a wonderful Spawny day. See ya.